Rule number 1, start now. So this is something that I'm telling people all the time now, because more and more, as more information is coming up online about calisthenics, how you should train, how you shouldn't train, I'm noticing people are starting to get overwhelmed. They're like, what exercise should I do? How many sets should I be holding it? This person does that, this person does that. What should I do? What's right for me? I get it. It's a bit too overwhelming. There's a lot of information out there, but at the end of the day, you need to just start. Figure out what your goals are and just start. No matter where you are, if you figure that you want to get a muscle up, you want to get a pull up, you want to get a push up, just start now. I have people that really want the planche, but then they're working only the handstand push up. Why? If you want the planche, start working on the planche. Specificity. If there's anything that you should take away from all the videos out there, just take away specificity. If you want something, do the exercises that are specific for that skill. So if you want the planche, I understand where you're coming from, that you want to do handstand push-ups. Or if you want the pull-up, I understand that maybe you just want to work on horizontal rows. But the best way at getting the pull-up, at getting the planche, is by actually doing them. So guys, I beg you, please, if you want a goal, work where you are now. There's so many progressions that work with you, not against you. So even if you're at a lower strength level than you kind of want to be, get the progression or pick the progression that you want to use, that works for you, that's in the right rep ranges for whatever it is, whether it's strength or hypertrophy, and use that progression to get to that specific goal you want. Don't do exercises that aren't the specific skill that you want. If you don't care about handstand push-ups so much, don't worry about it. Just do it as an accessory, but focus your efforts on the other skills that will get you the planche, for example. The second rule to get ahead of the majority of people in calisthenics is laser in on 1 to 2 goals. This is what successful people do. They laser in on their 1 to 2 goals. They don't start very big and very general most of the time. Most of the time they're lasering in on a certain area that they're comfortable with, then they expand from there. It's the same in your training. Your body has a finite amount of resources. It has a finite amount of energy, and it has a finite amount of recovery it can give. So it has a finite amount of energy. So that means in a workout, you're only gonna have a certain amount of energy before you get too fatigued and can't really train productively anymore. So that means you need to spend it doing the exercises that are going to get you that specific goal. That's why your goals are important, and making sure your workouts aren't too long. Make sure the energy is being spent on the most important things you want. The other thing is the recovery. Your body has a limited amount of resources it can give to recovery. So that means if you're doing rugby, you're sprinting, you're also doing calisthenics training, your body's not going to be able to recover from all of those different things like optimally. So you want to narrow it down. If you really want the best out of all those different things, you're going to have to narrow it down to maybe the 1 or 2 things that you want to focus on. So really, if you want to progress the fastest, focus on just one sport, and even within that sport, focus on one area. If it's hypertrophy, focus on hypertrophy and focus on that for a bit. Then if it's strength, then focus on strength. It's hard to do both at the same time. Usually most of us want strength in calisthenics, so the majority of our training is designed towards strength, so we recover for strength. However, this doesn't mean your workout should only include 2 exercises. Of course, you need enough stimulus so your body actually responds and then has to dish out that recovery and actually grows, and you gain the adaptations, you come back stronger. So that doesn't mean only do 1 to 2 exercises. It just means be very selective with how you're spending your energy, because your body can only recover a certain amount and in a certain time frame. So you want to make sure you're spending it wisely. The third rule that's going to get you ahead of most people in calisthenics is going to be self-educate like crazy. Listen to podcasts, read books, look at in-depth YouTube videos like on this channel, but don't only consume, test the concepts. This is the main thing, because not all the concepts or most concepts are general. They're just concepts. You need to figure out if that's going to work for you, especially in training. And that's something I did. I went and tested out some of the strength principles. They're very general. They work for the majority of people, but there's going to be little tweaks here and there to volume and intensity that are going to work specifically for you. If you don't even understand what I was just saying, then that's something that if you want to learn more about training and programming, you're going to want to self-educate about. So self-educate, look up books. If you want to really progress with your training as fast as I might think you want to progress at it, then you want to get educated. Knowledge is power. I have people coming to me asking in DMs, how do I do this? How do I do this? If they literally just read a book on, for example, overcoming gravity, if they literally read that book, they would know almost everything I'm about to tell them. And that's just because I read that book. So self-educate yourself, become your own personal trainer. That's the goal. Don't rely on YouTube. Don't rely on even me. Try and become your own personal trainer. That's how you're going to get ahead of most people in calisthenics. The fourth rule that's going to get you ahead of most people in calisthenics is going to be record every set and note down your reps and sets. Guys, I can't explain enough how much people don't do this. A lot of people will just go into their training sessions, work out, and leave without noting down a thing. This is going to work for some people, but for the majority of us, we're going to be able to make so much more progress if we note down what we're doing and if we have even a recording of our session so we can go back and look at it later. I know a lot of people record their sets. I don't even know if I know people that do weights that write down most of their sets or even track it in an app, let alone in calisthenics, which is even more vague with how you would track it. So I almost don't blame people for not tracking their workouts and how many reps and sets they do or what the whole time was, but it's something you need to get in the habit of doing. Let me ask you like this. If I was going to come to you and say, okay, let me see your workout plan. Hopefully you have a workout plan. That's another thing people don't have. But let's say you have a workout plan, but you haven't been writing down your reps and sets. Let me say, how are you going to better this workout plan next month? What would you say? Do you have an answer? Hopefully you do, but most likely, if you haven't been writing down your sets and reps, you won't have an answer. You need to know what you've done in order to improve. So in order to improve your workout plan and to know if it even worked, you need to know what reps and sets you started off with at the start of the workout plan and what you ended with. Then the next time you make the workout plan, you can hopefully use that as a basis. This worked, this didn't work. My pull increased, my push didn't increase. That's what you need to be doing. Guys, if you do this simple thing, just writing down your reps and sets, you're going to progress much faster than many others, 99% of people in calisthenics. The fifth rule to get ahead of the majority of people in calisthenics is every 6 to 8 weeks, take a deload. So you want to make sure you're not overtraining to avoid this negative effect, which is called overreaching or non-functional overreaching. So guys, every 4 to 8 weeks, depending on how hard you're training, take a deload. As you get more experience, the experienced guys know. They know when to deload just on their own. They can go off field. They know how much their body is able to take before they're going into that zone where it's too much fatigue and they're going to be overtraining. But when you're just starting out, you need to write it down. If you feel like you can do an extra week when it comes to the deload, who actually feels fresh, just go another week. You can test it as well. You can test a week 5 deload or a week 6 deload. If you deloaded in week 5, in week 4, did you feel really strong? If you deloaded in week 6, was week 5 just awful and you were just, way too tired that week? Well, you'll probably want to deload in week 5. So test it. Write down what weeks you're deloading, test it, see how you feel. I figured out that I'm strongest in week 4 and in week 5, I can train, but sometimes it's not needed. So week 5 is optional for me. I figured that out through testing and deloading in different weeks. So try it out. If you're still struggling with your calisthenics journey, you've been stuck on something for a while now, you're not making progress, maybe you don't understand how to program and all these concepts, then check the link down below in the pinned comment because I'm taking coaching clients. If you want me to be your personal trainer, I'll be able to do that. I'll be able to make you personalized training plans, as well as we'll have Zoom calls every 2 weeks to make sure you're keeping up with progress, and I'll keep you accountable. But if not, guys, check out this video because I give you more rules that people don't tell you about training calisthenics static skills.